A dramatic dawn raid on a building that for almost 18 hours had been taken over by Taliban fighters. The construction site is next to the Kabul Star Hotel in the heart of the city, close to embassies and government ministries. By dawn, Afghan security forces had managed to take control of the building. It began at lunchtime on Sunday when the sound of gunfire ricocheted across Kabul as Taliban suicide bombers launched a coordinated series of attacks on 3 locations in the city. This was outside the Kabul Star. There were also attacks on the Parliament building and NATO headquarters and another military base on the outskirts of Kabul. At each location, Taliban fighters hid in buildings that are under construction, firing guns and rocket-propelled grenades from the upper stories. Inside the Kabul Star, guests, including the Al Jazeera English team, were forced to run to the basement as suicide bombers blew themselves up outside. This scene will have been repeated across Kabul. Hundreds of thousands of people working and living in the city centre were forced to flee or take shelter.
We are very much concerned. That's totally a big concern for all of us, not only for the intelligence organizations, but for the police as well. We will have to look into ways and measures, very strong measures, and experiences, of course, to learn from the NATO forces and the intelligence organizations that work within the NATO forces to make sure we do not have this kind of situation in the future.
The Taliban claim responsibility for the attacks, saying the British and German embassies and NATO headquarters were the main targets. 3 other Afghan provinces were also targeted. In Paktika, along the Pakistan border, a NATO helicopter gunship fired at gunmen hiding in a building next to a construction site. In Jalalabad, 4 attackers in suicide vests attacked a NATO airfield and another base. 3 attackers were killed before getting into the base, and another ran away. This has been the biggest attack on Kabul since the fall of the Taliban 11 years ago. They've been able to prove that they can bring fear and panic to the heart of the capital whenever they want to. There are now serious questions about the intelligence failings that led to the city being effectively held under siege. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, Kabul.